But, April and I had the good fortune of having an opportunity to, I kind of like to call it interview Cliff about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago. And I say that with an open heart, Cliff, but April and I are very protective of our team, and I can, after we got done, talking with you, I can't tell you how pleased we were that, how nice it was to meet you, how pleased we were with your plans. And I want to start by reading your bio to the folks in case they didn't see it on the invitation. But and the city you're from, it's Chihuahua like the dog. Am I saying
Chihuahua like the dog? Yes,
okay,
sir.
so I really don't speak any Spanish, Cliff. Okay, so I even Googled it to just make sure it sounded right when I said it. But Cliff Whetten was born and raised in Chihuahua, Mexico, and he's been in this industry of direct selling for 17 years, focused primarily on the United States and Latin American countries. But first thing that got my attention was he's opened 9 countries in Latin America, and joined LifeVantage in September. So he's, what's it, about 2 months now, I guess, give or take?
Yeah, give or take. Yeah, almost 3. Yeah,
almost 3. And so new here, and with the understanding that there's a huge opportunity for Latinos in the United States. And I guess what I want to say, Cliff, you mentioned going back and forth between English, Spanish. It's your show, so do whatever.
yeah.
April and I do not speak Spanish at all, as we told you before. So if you do want us to chime in or say something, just say it to us in English, so we know that you want us to say something. But a couple things that I think the audience would appreciate, and then it's all yours. Number one, why LifeVantage? And number two, what are your goals and your vision and your plans being the new general manager in charge of all of the Latino speaking countries, Spanish speaking countries, all of that, not only here in the States and Mexico, but around the world. So
yeah,
go with that, my friend. And thank you for your
No.
time. I appreciate it. And everyone here appreciates it. So thank you.
No, my pleasure. And thank you, Bob and April, for putting this together. Nice to meet you, everybody. As Bob said, my name's Clifford Whetten, and I am from Mexico. I actually grew up in Chihuahua, in a small town where it's a bilingual culture. So I like switching. I'm a Spanglish guy, so I can talk 3 seconds in English and talk through another 3 seconds in Spanish. So, but good questions. Good questions. Why LifeVantage? And I'll throw this in Spanish in a second, but why LifeVantage is a great question. LifeVantage has an immense opportunity for the Latinos. Not just the U.S. Spanish, but like Latin America itself. I love opening up countries. I love getting business building and field development on the ground. It's one of my things, is if you guys looked at my profile on LinkedIn or whatnot, but out of the, I would say, 7 companies that I have been with, I would say 3 of them are billion-dollar earning companies, but also most of them were opened when I had the opportunity to help them open up and launch these countries. And it's been really helpful to be able to understand both cultures, because that's a huge part that has to do with this market, especially gaining confidence with Latinos. That's a big factor. So why LifeVantage? I mean, there's 65 million Spanish-speaking people in the U.S. If we took in consideration that as a country, that would be the second largest Spanish-speaking country in the world, right after Mexico. 43% of those Spanish-speaking people that are in the U.S. are Mexican descent, in some way, some sort. And so we're in Mexico. So we have a great opportunity. We have registrations in Mexico. Since we're a public company, we have to do everything legally, which was nice because kind of got tired of doing things and shipping product into countries and trying to get things set up and doing it over behind people's back and the government's back and stuff. And so it gets kind of old, but it's really refreshing to be with a correct and straight and narrow company, which speaks a lot about our ethical standpoint, right? So that is one of the biggest reasons why I accepted this offer at LifeVantage. But another one is that has to do with the Latino culture, and it is our product. And our Pretendum is an amazing product. And Latinos are very, very driven about this product, and this type of product, actually. And so when I did some research, talked to a couple of friends who are nutritionists and supplement dietary supplement doctors in the industry, they've heard about it. But what's interesting is that Mexico, as the times that I've been here, I never knew that LifeVantage was officially in Mexico. And I've been doing this for 17 years, and I never knew they were here in Mexico. I'm actually in Mexico right now, so I'm going to stay here. So that caught my eye. And I asked Jeff, I'm like, hey, how are our sales down there? And then he tells me the number, and I'm like, huh, I know other companies that are doing way less than that, yet you hear them all over the place through social media, through this industry and people, but yet here I didn't. And it brings me to the next point, as it's an amazing product that we have so many customers in Mexico, and I'm sure in the US, that love our product, and they just keep buying it because they need it. And when we develop a need for a product, that retention rate is way high. And so in the industry, you to have this type of retention is not very common. So kudos to LifeVantage for that. And that made me open my eyes and say, you know what, I can work with what we have, but at the same time, I'm going to put LifeVantage's name on the map in Mexico and Latin America and the US Spanish market, and we can do some great things. So last month, it was second month, but it was the biggest, largest month that we've had in the last year and a half. We had over 650 enrollments just in Mexico, and with about 40% of those being distributors, consultants. So that's why LifeVantage. I see an immense opportunity here, and you guys have been here for many, many years. And so, I mean, you guys, everybody knows somebody that speaks Spanish. I mean, and everybody knows someone that speaks Spanish, and especially in the US Spanish market, they're looking for an opportunity. They're looking for an opportunity where the mother of the household can actually work from home and make as much money as if she was working a 12-hour shift somewhere else, right? And so to offer this type of opportunity is great. And I know the Achilles heel of what LifeVantage is. I figured that one out. Bob and April helped me figure that one out for the Spanish market and what the needs are. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that and everything. So that's my why of LifeVantage. And my vision here is, like I said, to put LifeVantage on the map with Latinos, because they are some of the hardest working network marketers there, but they still have that tendency of that old school way, in person, and doing meetings in person and pulling out the catalog prices. And it's going to be that way for a long time. But I can give you guys the tools on how to meet with them and how to talk with them and give them highlights of what they need and are looking for, we can do some great things. And so other companies, they don't have the support that I would need in the field to be able to lift it up as quickly as I want, but here I do. You know, I got Bob and April. I didn't know they about them until they called me and they reached out, and I said, yes, let's do it. You know, if even 2-3 people that are willing, let's work with them, because if they are willing, we can work with the willing and help them get to where they want. So I'm going to jump into Spanish real quick. Líderes, pues un gusto, me llamo Cliff y pues aquí con Bobby April, el equipo aquí, pues yo quería compartir con todos ustedes la razón por la cual yo estoy en LifeVantage. Tengo 17 años en la industria, conozco la industria por dentro y por fuera, y yo estoy muy, muy contento de estar aquí con ustedes. Y lo que le estaba comentando a todos, pues, por qué la razón yo uní aquí a LifeVantage, pues es que tenemos una oportunidad enorme para poder hacer cosas en grande. Y esto es debido a lo que Bob, April y todos estos líderes hicieron desde hace muchos años. Entonces, ahora es el tiempo para todos nosotros de poder compartir la misión y la visión de LifeVantage a todos nuestros queridos latinos. Y la manera que vamos a hacer eso, pues, es reuniones, llamadas, entrenamientos de producto y compartir con las personas para uno entender que tenemos un producto de estrella en LifeVantage, varios productos de estrella en LifeVantage, y también un plan de pagos de compensación increíble. Entonces, yo estoy muy contento de estar aquí con todos ustedes. Este, por favor, hazme preguntas, con mucho gusto los contesto. Mi intención aquí es para arrancar bien el mercado hispano en Estados Unidos. Entonces, empezaríamos con llamadas. Ok, sé que tenemos un grupo en Chicago, tenemos otros grupos en otros lados. Si pueden poner en el chat de dónde son, para poder identificar en dónde andan, porque sí es muy importante que empecemos a hacer reuniones cada 2 semanas de unas llamadas de entrenamiento, preguntas frecuentes y entrenamiento del plan, porque el plan es muy, muy diferente explicando en español que en inglés. Ellos tienen sus métodos de cómo hacer las cosas y nosotros tenemos que encontrar la manera de cómo compartir el mismo mensaje, pero al entendimiento de nosotros como latinos, ¿sí? Entonces, eso para mí es lo primero. Empezar a hacer reuniones y si tenemos 20, 30 personas para hacer una reunión en persona, fantástico. Yo voy allá, hacemos una reunión en persona, con mucho gusto. Y veo que muchos son de Chicago. Muy bien. Ivette, Ariel, perfecto. Delia, un gusto. Entonces voy a brincar al inglés de nuevo. And so, like I was just telling them, asking them to put in the chat where they're from, and it's in my mission right now is I'm getting familiar with Mexico, and so I'm able to put some things in there, and we're getting some more people hired so that I can focus more time in the U.S. Spanish as well. I got to balance that out. It's going to take me about 3 until the end of the year, basically, to be able to balance it out. But I do want to start getting on biweekly calls, and I told them that's where we're going to start. We got to start, get to know each other, and get on these calls every 2 weeks. And it's going to be comp plan training. It's going to be product training. It can be all above. And Bob and April, we can mold your strategy of way of presenting into Spanish, but we'll make some adjustments there because it is very different on how we share the business and the products in the Latino culture. Also,
where can you communicate with everybody? Where can they stay on top of these calls and where's the information going to be stored? Can we get it in like all in one place where everybody knows?
Yes.
Where to go?
So I'm going to be transitioning. We have a LifeVantage private Facebook group, but since I'm in charge of all Spanish speaking markets, what I'm going to do is I'm going to transition that Facebook group next week into all Spanish speaking markets. So
it's been just Mexico to this point, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And I'm going to do that because I did that last place where I was at and it worked out perfectly. We even had Puerto Ricans in there. The reason being is they're feeling a part of a family where they've seen other people have success and see their stories in there. And two, you're going to find people in the US that are Spanish speaking, but yet they're going to be recruiting people in Mexico back and forth. And so as long as they're having the same information, everybody's on the same page, like what you guys need. I'll be putting those and posting those in there on our weekly calls. We have a weekly call at 1:00 every Monday. And so we post the announcements in this Facebook group. I'll actually put the Facebook group link so you guys can start adding and sharing people in there. And then I'll be changing the name of this what did you call it? I'll be changing the name of the group to a US Latino Facebook group, private group. And that way you guys can just put all your people in there. It can be customers, it can be consultants, it does not matter. Great question, Gail, and I'll answer that one in a second. Líderes también, lo que le estaba mencionando a Bobby y a todos los demás, ese grupo que pasé el link, en la siguiente semana lo va a cambiar porque ahorita está solamente para México, pero hacemos llamadas cada lunes a la 1 de la tarde. Entonces, esas llamadas tienen que ver con entrenamientos de cómo hacer el negocio, entrenamientos de cómo usar WhatsApp. Por ejemplo, este lunes que viene a la 1 de la tarde, hora de Utah, va a ser una llamada sobre cómo actualizar y crear un negocio de WhatsApp. Nosotros usamos WhatsApp como nunca, ¿verdad? Entonces, para poder poner todos los imágenes de nuestros productos ahí y promover por medio de WhatsApp también. Cada semana es un tema diferente, pero igual voy a activar ese grupo ahí. So Gail asked in a question here, will there be Spanish marketing documents collateral? Yes, but this is going to take a little time to get things rolling. I have a meeting next week with marketing to talk about what is our official timeline. And I talked to Bob in April about this, of why when we launch something or we post something in English, it's not immediately in Spanish. Translations are very, 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 I'm very picky on them, to be honest. But at the same time, we learn on a 2-week period where the US is always making adjustments after 2 weeks when they launch something and adjusting some things. So if I translate something immediately, I'm going to have to redo it and send it to our third-party translation team. That's going to have to translate it all over again. So once it's already completed, we're getting some flow, we're getting the information correctly, then those translations come out. And so that's like a 1.5 to 2 week period timeline when something comes out. If it comes sooner, awesome, right? That's great. So that's on that collateral, but at the same time, it's going to take a while. I have a meeting with them, but we're going to do some PDF files that are of each of our products, which are going to be like, what are the key ingredients of those products? What are the top benefits for using that product? And then at the same time, thinking Spanish right now, what are the frequently asked questions? Okay, so that way people can just share and it's in their own language and it has all the information. También preguntó que cuándo íbamos a tener material en español. Todo eso depende porque tenemos un equipo de traducción que es de tercera parte, o sea, de otra empresa. Y a mí no me gusta sacar las traducciones inmediatamente porque en Estados Unidos siempre hacen ajustes una semana después que lanzan algo en inglés. Entonces, si yo lanzo algo y hago la traducción ahí mismo, me va a tomar tiempo para hacer esas traducciones, ¿ok? Entonces, no es para que sepan eso, entre 1.5 semanas, 2 semanas es el tiempo que estaría listo las traducciones, pero a la misma vez estaremos trabajando en diciembre y enero, de tener todos los productos en forma PDF, de poder compartir con los 3 puntos más importantes. ¿Cuáles son los ingredientes principales? ¿Cuáles son los beneficios de ese producto? Y 3, las preguntas frecuentes, ¿ok? Todo eso nos va a tomar tiempo, pero eso es muy importante para que ustedes puedan compartir en redes sociales, compartir en Facebook, Instagram, lo que sea, en WhatsApp también, en sus grupos. Michael, okay, so Elena Ruiz asks, how soon more or less can we have Chicago meeting? Okay, that's up to you guys. So I have a pretty good a nice budget because we want to do things correctly, but I would need at least 1.5 to 2 ahead of time so you guys can have at least 3 weeks consistently promoting the meeting, the opportunity meeting, and I don't require like 100 people, because that's just, I mean, we're going to be realistic. We're barely getting started, but this culture needs to have meetings in person, right? They can be different style of meetings. They can be home meetings. They can be, if they're not that big, but I mean, that's always, they always feel a little more comfortable when they go to a home than they go to a meeting, unless they're consultants already, than going to a meeting and inviting prospects. That's normal. But yeah, that's up to you guys. If you guys can get anything above 25 people for a meeting, count me in. So let's set a date, and yeah, let's rock and roll. And I can put a presentation together in Spanish for that too.
Cliff, that they're ready to do that. We've been going into Chicago every month for almost a year. And
right.
The growth in the market in Chicago has been, the biggest growth has been the Spanish speaking Latino market. So if you give them a date, they will put that number in the room. You can count.
Okay.
So
perfect. Yeah. And so, líderes, piénsalo. Cuando ustedes quieren tener una reunión, me avisan, deme 2 opciones de fechas para poder planearlo y darles una respuesta. So yeah, if you give me 2 options on a couple of dates to be able to get out there, that'll be great. I would love to.
Do you have anything in the form of a Spanish presentation that maybe has been being used in Mexico that would be easily converted for US? Is there anything you could provide at this point, especially now that Collagen is in Mexico? Is there anything in Spanish that you can
Yes.
write to us?
I have a Spanish. We just had I have a Spanish collagen presentation that we could use. What I did find out here is, and it's pretty interesting, but there's not like a Spanish comp plan PPT, a PowerPoint. So I got to put that together. And plus Mexico has their comp plan, and then the US has the Evolve. We will be transitioning to Evolve in March. And so we just had our pre-Evolve event this last Saturday with Kristen. It was great, but I can put something together because when I got here, the guy that was here for 7 years, actually, he wasn't a fan of doing in-person meetings and traveling. So not my style, completely different. I'll hit 7 cities in 8-10 days. I don't mind that at all. I love it because I love connecting with people to see these going. So I got to work on that, but I can put it together.
Would you be open to, maybe for starters, a once a month Spanish opportunity meeting on Zoom?
Yeah, that's fine.
Do something like that where we can market it from month to month and just, pick an evening that works. And keep in mind, obviously East Coast, West Coast is 3 hours, time difference there, but those are some immediate things that I think would be extremely helpful while you're putting some of the other pieces to the puzzle together.
Correct. I think that's a great idea, especially coming to the end of the year, where most people are going to be unavailable, we could say. But Zoom's always available, but would love to do that for sure. Not a problem.
Okay, great.
Entonces, para hacer unas reuniones una vez al mes para prospectos, estamos abiertos a hacer algo así. Pues Bobby y April van a poner esas fechas con ustedes y ya me avisan y podemos empezar a hacer esas reuniones en Zoom, perdón. Michael asked, Cliff, we need videos in Spanish también. Oh, you speak Spanglish like me. All right. That is a great question, Michael. Right now, I am in full mode doing videos and PPTs for Evolve. So just like what you guys have in the hub, I'm actually have these guys busting it so that I can have it ready by February. I do have the True Renew in Spanish. And so I'll put that, it's in the Facebook group too, but I'll put that in there. And it's voiceover. I'm not looking for subtitles because it just doesn't connect. So we need voiceovers. So I would love to get you guys' feedback since you guys have been here for so long. what are the top 5 videos? And Bob, you can in April, you guys can text me this later. But what would be the top 5 videos that you guys use most that you guys would like to have in Spanish? That way I can put that on my priority list and put it and send it to marketing to get those voiced over for sure.
Okay. Well, just so you know, you're speaking to, a lot of us are not the historians that you might have met already in LifeVantage. April and I have been here 6 years, and everyone else on the screen, except for some of the Canadian distributors, they're new. Okay, the group you're looking at on the screen,
love it.
Majority of them are on the newer side.
Hey, well, hey, I'm new too, but I will tell you this, in this industry, I mean, what I've seen in LifeVantage, there's a lot of people that have been here for a long time, and it's very rare to see nowadays that people have been in with one company. So welcome everybody. And so I'm excited here to be with new people too. All right. And Canada, yes, for sure. It's actually surprising. A lot of people do not think that there's a lot of Latinos in Canada, but there are a lot. Actually, a lot of people from the Dominican Republic, which you would never expect some from the DR to go to the freezing weather in Canada. But yes, so I will get that to you, Delia. There's a presentation deck already in Spanish, and get that figured out and let you guys know. And just going through this, líderes, también voy a crear una presentación de oportunidad. Lo que ustedes están buscando, pidiendo, va a ser básico. Recuerdan, no queremos dar presentaciones de oportunidad más de 30 minutos, máximo 40. I just let them know that presentation opportunity meetings in the Latin culture, anything over 30, max 40 minutes is a lot. It's a lot. They get very antsy. That's just how they are. And so I can build something that it's broken up with the comp plan to be able to go piece by piece. But right now, focusing on the front end of the comp plan and the front end of the products and the highlights is going to be our target.
We can send you, we've been doing a monthly, we call it a launch Zoom, to launch the business. And we've gotten it down to 28 to 30 minutes, half of it on product, half of it on the basic comp plan, the 2 or 3 main immediate income components. I can send you that and see what your thoughts are, if that would translate well to Spanish.
Yeah, send those over.
It's not one of these long-winded ones. We keep it 30 minutes or less,
Perfect. Yes, perfect. Yeah, send that over and I can mold it to a Spanish, the Spanish version, not a problem. Hope says, hola, everybody. Just wanted to ask the following question. Given the economic difference in North and South America, is there a pricing difference in markets? So as of right now, I would say our packs and stacks are a little different. You'll see that our packs and stacks are more led in Mexico towards a business model for a quick resell. They're very, very big on reselling. They want to get their money back. So to figure out a duplication system of how they can get their money back within 30 days of their first investment, on top of extra earnings, that is going to be your cherry on the pie. So that's that. Leaders put it different ways. They build it differently. But yes, there's a price difference, but you'll be surprised in this industry. You would say about 6 out of 10 people in Latin America, I would say Mexico mostly, 6 out of 10 people in Mexico have actually done network marketing somehow. So that's a big number. And when they do it it's going to be 75% more on the business end. So these people are very business minded. You'll get your customers, you'll get people that want to try the products and everything. It's getting bigger in that pool, but you'll be surprised what they will do in order to actually just sign up with a pack or stack at the beginning to be able to focus on a business. Líderes, entonces sí, la diferencia en la economía dentro de Estados Unidos y Latinoamérica sí hay una gran diferencia, pero los paquetes son casi los mismos en precio. porque pues realmente las personas que están entrando sí entienden acerca de lo que es el negocio, el modelo de negocio para poder hacer esto en grande. Entonces, los precios sí son diferentes, pero el precio por el producto es similar. Si compramos el producto individualmente, pues es muy similar, no más depende del tipo de cambio. Our exchange rate for Mexico, paid commissions and paid for product, is at 20 pesos to the dollar. Okay, so that's our peg rate. It never moves. We check it annually, and if it moves up or down, then we kind of move it around. But right now, it's 20 pesos to the dollar. Nuestro tipo de cambio para pagar comisiones y para pagar por productos es el 20 pesos al dólar. Ese es el tipo de cambio fijo que manejamos. Ya cuando se eleva mucho ese intercambio, pues ya vamos a mover eso, pero lo checamos anualmente, no es para que sepan. Okay. Oh, that's a good, Fred and Shirley, that's a good stat right there, 50,000 Latinos, and that's just in one city in Ontario, yes. Michael's asking, ¿qué países del centro de Sudamérica podrían abrir pronto? Tengo estatus en Panamá, pensionado en Panamá. Ah, okay, sí. So Michael's asking about what countries in Central and South America are we thinking about opening? He has a suspension status in Panama. Michael, I love Panama. I was just there 4 months ago. That's a market that I really, really do like. We have some, you think it's really small, but yeah, in this industry, they're really big. They like to do this type of business. That is one of the top 3 countries that I'm interested in. Hopefully, the end of next year, I can actually be like, this is the country officially that we're going into Central South America. So by direction of Life Vantage and the board, they want to focus on getting Mexico solidified and the U.S. market solidified with as well Puerto Rico. But the top 3 countries would be Panama, Colombia, and Ecuador. Panama and Ecuador, the reason being is because they use dollars, right? So the economic, it doesn't really affect. Colombia, their earnings are $250 a month in a household, more of the population, but they understand this business better than a lot of people in South America, and they know how to move masses and build quickly. So yeah, that is mainly the top 3 countries that I would focus on. But my goal is by when Evolve launches, I can have a benchmark of say 600,000 in sales monthly, and then I can roll into June with almost hitting $1 million mark monthly in Mexico, and that will be able to give me opportunity to be able to jump into one of those 3 markets in the next following year. So yeah. Entonces, líderes, preguntaron acerca de otros países que estamos interesados en Latinoamérica que aperturar y abrir. Pues los 3 países que estamos muy interesados, bueno, yo, sería Panamá, Colombia y Ecuador. Panamá y Ecuador, la importancia de entender eso es porque manejan dólares, más que nada. Entonces, el tipo de cambio no les afecta. Y también los productos, para comprar productos no les cuesta. Y les encanta recibir pagos en dólares también. Colombia, porque es un mercado sensacional en Latinoamérica. Ellos son muy buenos en este negocio, entonces es muy importante que necesitamos meter pie ahí para poder hacer algo fijo en ese país. Es chiquito, pero es grande. Just some other stats, like in Mexico, they're number 8 in the world for income of network marketing companies. So they do about $8.3 billion annually in Mexico if we're adding up all the countries. And Colombia's number 17, I think, worldwide. And it's smaller, way smaller than Mexico. That just gives you an idea of how business-minded they are and how much they move in those countries. So yeah. But other than that, Bob and April, like that's my mission. My mission is to solidify and get things going material wise, for the U.S. Spanish market. Bi-weekly calls or biweekly There'll be bi-weekly, sorry, we'll jump into that because we're merging. So it'll be weekly calls at 1 o'clock on Monday. That will be linking them in with Mexico and going over the active
Starting
films.
when, Cliff?
So this will be starting December.
So the first Monday in December, so that's the 4th?
The 4th, correct. The 4th of December. That way we can just give a highlight of how we're transitioning, and then January coming, boom, we can just jump in completely and everything. So, and even if you want, we can do a opportunity meeting in December, virtually. So Spanish one. And I think if you send me your slides, I can get that done within a couple of weeks, not a problem. And we can actually do that in December first thing too.
Well, we'll get a date on that. We'll talk to the team and get a date from that. So on the immediate side, we need that Spanish presentation. Okay, that is, you know, the Chicago team is ready to do their own Spanish meetings now. Okay, like they just need the presentation. You know, and they can start doing meetings in Chicago on their own. You know, we were just in Chicago yesterday, Cliff. So we were just, a lot of these folks on the screen, we were just with them last night. Okay. And so they're ready to go with it. So that would be a priority if we could get the presentation, you know, that, and again, I'll send you what we did, the YouTube recording of it, so you can see what we do on Zoom. And then I'll send you the slides that we used last night. And most of them are company stuff. We added a few things to it, but most of it is regular company. But they need it in Spanish, you know, and you know, we can go from there. So if we can get that, we'll get a Spanish opportunity date set for December. The first Monday in December, you'll start the weekly calls. Was there anything else, anybody that came up, that the urgency of like what we're looking at, what can we do right now that Cliff has the ability to do immediately while he works on some of the other things that everybody wants to happen? Is there anything I missed or I'm leaving out? Helen, we talked a little last night. Does that help on the immediate side, Dr. Pla? You can unmute.
You're muted.
Okay. Were you able to unmute, Helen? By the way,
can you hear me?
Oh, now you're good. Yeah. By the way,
Okay,
Cliff,
yes.
there were 4 doctors on this tonight, just so you know.
Oh, great.
Okay,
Yeah,
so there were doctors on this call tonight listening to you also.
Very good.
So it's just the organization that we want to be able to have, and meeting you is a great step. Of course, we would like to meet you in Chicago as well. I think you have a great personality, you know, and we need to learn from you as well. And I think that the faster we learn about the business and your perspective, and everyone's that has the experience, their perspective, how to reach the Spanish market. We're expert in talking to Spanish people. The business side is the difference for us doctors, because we are always providing services, and suddenly selling a product is a completely different story. So, hablando en español, nosotros necesitamos organizarnos, y tu persona y tu personalidad, aparentemente eres una gran persona, y se ve que esa energía se comparte. Nosotros estamos tratando de organizarnos en Chicago, y mientras más nos ayudes mejor, y queremos conocerte en persona y crecer el negocio aquí contigo también.
Claro. Ok, muchísimas gracias, Helen. Muchas gracias. Y pues sí, correcto. O sea, mientras que ahorita con las llamadas semanalmente de anuncios internos corporativos de las promos y entrenamiento de producto, y luego mensualmente las llamadas de entrenamiento de capacitaciones del negocio y de los productos. Tengo una amiga que todavía no se ha unido a LifeVantage, pero ella es muy buena presentadora por los productos. Nos ayudó este fin de semana para hablar sobre el colágeno. Entonces, a lo mejor en una de las llamadas podemos hacer un entrenamiento del colágeno, de parte de ella, para ustedes que son doctores y pueden entender el modelo de cómo compartimos mientras y cuando estamos siendo muy compliant, con lo que decimos, ¿no? Aunque es un punto muy importante de tomar, pero sí, agradezco eso y sí, así será, así será. Ustedes tienen talento, tanto yo tengo mi talento y pues juntándolos podemos hacer cosas en grandes aquí, pero este es el primer punto y paso que tenemos que tomar, es sincronizar y todos estar en la misma página y ir hacia adelante.
Ok, gracias mil.
Otra
Ok.
cosa que estaba pensando es que cuando estábamos en el Congreso Latino, tú mencionaste que ibas a hacer como un database de los latinos, porque muchos de los latinos no tenemos, bueno, yo tengo apellidos latinos, pero hay otras personas como tú no
Sí,
suena latino. ¿Y cómo entonces podemos hacer cuando envíen información y promociones por correo electrónico que las personas latinas puedan accesar eso en español? Porque yo no recibo nada, yo no me enteré del Congreso Latino por otras personas.
sí, es buena pregunta. Lo voy a traducir, Zulma.
Okay.
So Zulma has a great question, which is one Achilles heel that a lot of companies do at the beginning, and it will take about 6 months to get something transitioned. So how do we identify US Latinos? Because I mean, my name does not sound Mexican at all, right? And so if I sign up in the US, how do I request that all the emails I get are in Spanish, right? Which we do not have in Spanish yet, but we're going to be working on that. That's another task. But to be able to identify, like if you guys sign up somebody, to be able to flag when they enroll, to be like, this is a Spanish speaker, so that I can run reports and be like, hey, this is a hotspot of Spanish speakers. Like, who's running this? Let me reach out to them, right? Or let me give a rank advancement call. And so our system is not able to do that right now, but that is the first thing I asked that we need to start implementing. And so IT is looking into it and figuring out a way, but it does take a while with our third-party provider to be able to give us, to update that ability and that option. Entonces sí, eso va a tardar entre 3 a 5 meses, porque nuestro sistema interno es medio complicado y es un problema de esto en todas las empresas, pero lo bueno es que sí sé cómo hacerlo. Como los de ITC y la empresa de tercera toman su tiempo para hacer esto, pero sí, ellos ya están avisados y eso, pero en un futuro van a tener la opción cuando se inscriben a una persona para marcar y presionar ahí que son personas que hablan español. De esa forma, cuando yo corro los reportes y todo eso, yo voy a poder identificar quiénes son latinos y quiénes no.
No, Cliff, maybe one thing why you're working on the bigger project, that takes a while. Maybe when people are enrolling, there could be a box or something added just saying, giving them the opportunity to get on a list to receive information in Spanish. They can start building that database, and the people already in the company can submit to enroll, for that. And maybe that's something that could be done immediately while the bigger project's being worked on.
Yeah, and that is that's a second option that they are throwing out and they're presented to me. I'm in 2 weeks, we have our meeting on that. They told me that they need to open up a certain ticket to be able to get a response from my request that we submitted 2 weeks ago. So I'll ask on that. That's not a bad idea to be able to start providing a list and being able to
And that's
blast those
where
out.
Facebook and the hub
Yeah,
could really come in handy, where you start putting stuff there right away and people start requesting right away, why we get it built into the system of LifeVantage.
correct. Yes, agreed. Okay.
Well, I said 30 minutes, it's been 45 and you're in Mexico. So we will let you go, but
Well,
it
you
is,
just always got to take in consideration translating
yeah.
is double the time.
No, you were wonderful, and it's it's the evening and stuff, but my phone has been going nonstop with texts. People are very grateful and very excited that you are here with LifeVantage and that you are taking on a monumental task. It's been something that's, and we talked about it, an underserved community without the tools needed to do the most that can be done. Okay. And you come in swinging, and you're going to need to swing with corporate, I'll tell you, because April and I've been swinging for 6 years. So, so you're going to need to have a spine. Okay. But,
Yes, sir.
but we're excited, and I can tell you the group that's developing very fast in Chicago is Spanish speaking, and we would love to see that emerge and spread out all over the country. I mean, it's
100%.
so all right. So we're
100%
gonna,
agree.
that first Monday in December will be the first weekly call. We'll get with everybody and pick a date for December and make sure that works for you for an opportunity Zoom one of those evenings. And
Yes.
you sent the link out for Facebook, and we'll go from there. Is
All right.
that all right?
Works perfectly. Yes, sir.
Hey, everybody, how about a thanks for Cliff tonight, huh? Can you show your appreciation here?
Gracias.
We love to show
Thank
it.
Thank you so
you.
much.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much, Cliff, from all of
My
us up
pleasure,
here in
Cliff.
Canada, eh?
All right. Hey, yes. Sounds great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Have a
everybody.
great evening, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, Bob and April. Awesome.
Take care.
Bye.